Tonight's story is called Jack and the Beanstalk. Once upon a time there was a boy named Jack who lived with his mother, a poor widow. They had no money, so Jack's mother told him to sell their only cow. On his way to market, Jack met a butcher who offered to exchange the cow for 5 magic beans. Jack thought this would save him a long walk, so he agreed, and Jack's mother was furious and threw the beans outside. The next morning, Jack was amazed to see an enormous beanstalk outside his bedroom window. He decided to climb it to see what was at the top. He climbed and climbed, and at last he found himself in a beautiful meadow. In the distance, he could see an enormous castle. By now, Jack was very hungry, so he walked towards it, hoping to find something to eat. Jack knocked at the castle door, and a huge woman opened it. "Excuse me," Jack stuttered. "I haven't had anything to eat since yesterday morning. Could you let me have some food?" The giantess was big and ugly, but she had a kind heart, so she let Jack into the kitchen and gave him some breakfast. And just as he finished eating, he heard a terrible thump, thump, thump. "That's my husband," said the giantess. "Quick, jump in the oven, or he will eat you for breakfast." Jack hid just in time. "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." He heard the giant shout. "You're mistaken," said his wife. "It must be that ox I cooked you for breakfast." After breakfast, the giant sat down to count his money, but he soon fell asleep. Jack heard him snoring and crept out of the oven, and there were 3 money bags on the table next to the sleeping giant. So Jack grabbed one and raced back home. There was enough gold in the bag to buy food for quite some time, but eventually Jack and his mother ran out of money again. Jack decided to go back to the giant's castle to get some more gold. The giant's wife looked at him suspiciously when she opened the door. "Last time you were here, one of my husband's money bags disappeared," she said. Jack had to think quickly. "I can tell you what happened to it, but first I must have something to eat," he said. So the giantess took him to the kitchen and gave him some food. Suddenly he heard the thud of the giant's footsteps and jumped into the oven. "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread," snarled the giant. "It must be the sheep I've cooked for your breakfast," said his wife. After breakfast, the giant put a hen on the table and said, "Lay," and the hen immediately laid a golden egg. As soon as the giant fell asleep, Jack stole the hen and raced back home with it. The hen's golden eggs made Jack and his mother quite rich, and after a while Jack became greedy and decided to go back to the castle to see what else he could steal from the giant. This time he crept in while the giant's wife wasn't looking and hid in a cupboard. Soon he heard the giant's footsteps. "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread," roared the giant. "It must be the smell of that boy you had for dinner last night," his wife replied. And after he had eaten, the giant took a golden harp. "Play," he ordered, and the harp played a beautiful tune. When he fell asleep, Jack seized the magic harp and ran off. "Master, master," shouted the harp, waking the giant up. Jack felt the beanstalk shake as the giant started to climb down after him. When he reached the bottom, he rushed out to get a hatchet and chopped down the beanstalk. The giant fell to the ground with a great thud